TOPS is an acronym for the technique of persuasive selling. This is a program that has been used quite extensively in the Far East. I know of a number of companies that have used the TOPS program here in South Africa. And it has proved itself. It's been used in the health industry, it's been used in the hotel industry, it's been used in a fairly broad spectrum of industries. And therefore you will be able to take the elements of this and massage it towards your own individual requirements. What I'd like to do is, as we go through it, you'll find that it is very interactive. I'm going to ask you guys to develop a number of elements which we will then feed back as a group. As we get into the various sectors, I'm going to surprise one of you and ask you to summarize what was said in that sector, so that will obviate anybody going to sleep. One of the important elements is this building of receptivity. We will be looking at why people buy, and how you're able to identify the type of buyer, or in fact what type of salesman you fall into as well. Because it's very important that you both talk a similar language, and that the salesman gets off his island and comes and works on the same island as the buyer. Otherwise, what you will find is that you end up with a distance between the buyer and the salesman, and no matter what you do, you will never ever close that gap and be able to make the sale. We will also cover a bit of the selling, the actual skills process, which goes from the opening right down to the closing and setting up a platform for going back on your next visit. Because I assume that all you folk are not what we would define a one-off salesman, sell a car, never see the person again. You are interfacing with your customers on a cyclic basis every 6 weeks, 8 weeks, or whatever the cycle period that you folk use. We will do a couple of role plays if there is time. But certainly I'm going to ask you to identify a couple of your buyers, profile a buyer, and set up the terminology that you would hopefully use to be able to convince the buyer to see your point of view and at the end of the day purchase what you're trying to sell them. TOPS is actually, the selling program is the second program of a total system. We have a part of the program which allows you to have your sales manager or supervisor or whoever's in charge of the team going through the various skills that they require, and in fact running the training program itself. It's designed that it's an in-field program rather than a once-off program, and everybody forgets about it thereafter. So what you have is you train, let's say it's a supervisor. They are taught the various skills. They're taught how to interview, how to identify an appropriate salesperson for the individual position. The sales manager then runs the training program, which is a fairly intense 2-day program, and what I've done is I've tailor-made it for a 1-day process, which will cover everything fairly we have a number of diagnostic tools For example, if the salesperson is having difficulty in closing a sale, the supervisor or that salesperson's manager sits with you, they go through a day's work or a couple of days' work, the two of you then discuss where your shortcomings are or where you are particularly good at, and then you set up targets for improving the overall process. And the top 3 has a number of, in fact it's 12 little booklets, which allows you to go through them and fine-tune that specific problem that you have. At the same time, we have this interactive program where the manager goes, you know exactly what the manager is looking for. He's looking to see how you open, how you set up the benefits and features of what you're trying to sell, your extension, and all the various elements of the actual selling outline. And then he will sit with you and say, this is what I observed. You say, well, I don't think the 4 out of 10 is really what I should be getting. I should be getting 6. You discuss it and set up a report in terms of your comments, his comments, and it allows you to have a platform for his next visit with you. And this whole thing here can be put into a computer system which simply ties into the original reporting system if you have one within your company, and it allows you to see how you're performing on a monthly, quarterly basis. We're also able through this system to help put in your incentive programs and have different types of incentive programs. Are you launching a product? Are you trying to take an existing product that is dying? And what sort of incentive program is built to move that whole project forward? Any questions so far?